Who were you talking to? Were you texting? These are some of the type of questions that can be asked, and depositions have a limit of 3 hours unless you get prior court order approval or even subsequent court order approval.
What about the seatbelt?
Seatbelt is not always as important as other questions, but it's very important because it can minimize, obviously, the injury that was sustained. Getting back to where you're at with the client, you're going to have a statute of limitations.
Correct.
Let's talk about that for a moment.
Okay.
In automobile accident cases, what is the statute of limitations?
2 years for personal injury, 5 years for property damage, unless there's a minor or some other statutory exceptions.
What about the Chicago Transit Authority if you're going to sue them?
There's a year for governmental agencies for the most part. I'm not aware of any that are different. There could be, but if you do have a governmental agency, my advice would always be to check the statutes just to make sure. But generally speaking, I would say it's a year.
Okay, and some agencies, whether governmental agencies, have immunity. And that immunity we have exceptions to if we can show a willful or wanton type of negligence, which another term would be gross negligence, then we would be able to break that immunity.
Correct.
Okay. Now, when you file a lawsuit and you miss the statute of limitations, it means you don't file it within the prescribed time, your cause of action is forever gone in the state of Illinois. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And every state has their own statute of limitations, depending upon, again, whether it's a governmental agency, whether or not it's a driver in an automobile, and so forth. Let's talk about now the medical treatment. We talked about what you need from the doctor. You need what the treatment was. You want to look at the history that the client gave the doctor.